Something we've been talking about has been decided over the last couple of weeks. We've been wondering when the decision was going to come. Well, your USC Trojans have their defensive coordinator. It's former TCU head coach Gary Patterson. And Sean, I love this hire.
I do
Lincoln
too.
Riley.
I think this is, Segs, what happens when and he's been still involved in football, just not the head coach, or he's been involved as like consultant to the kid. He's done a few different things.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. This is, Segs, I'm not sure with the guys available to you get, I'm not sure this isn't a brilliant hire. For me, since I thought Alex Grinch was going to be better there, Segs,
I did too.
Because no one obviously had a relationship with the great Mike Leach and Mike's feelings for Grinch and how he did there, and then moving on as to a couple other players. I thought Alex Grinch was going to turn USC's defense around, but then again, it just didn't work for whatever reason. This is the best defensive coordinator hire they've had since Pete Carroll left, I think, on the surface. Now, it's not sexy, Segs. He's a little older. He hasn't been in everybody's social media for the last couple. And Gary lays low, always has. But he's opinionated. He's a great defensive coach, was a hell of a head coach, and he's a winner. That's why people still want to hire him. I think this is I do. Say, I wasn't even thinking about Coach Patterson while all this is going on. You're thinking about the guys whose names are in the every day, right? You're thinking about. That doesn't mean they're a better candidate. There is nothing about Gary Patterson that doesn't tell you, and Gary Patterson's never going to have the bandwidth of players as far as recruits go in his coaching career as a head coach or a coordinator that he's going to have at least. Now, for him to develop them and put them in position, that's on him. He's never going to have a cupboard more full with athletes than he has at Southern Cal. Now, what to do with them? We've said that about other coaches, but this one hit me. I'm like, damn, I didn't even think about Gary Patterson in this role. And this may end up being the smartest decision Lincoln Riley's ever made as at least as the head coach at SC, to bring this guy in. Because another thing, Segs, that guys would be afraid of, maybe Lincoln's not, I'm not talking about him, but some would. Why do you think some would not hire Gary Patterson full-time? I'm going to tell you why. I mean, when I talk about hire them as their coordinator. Right. You want to know why? Because they're afraid that he's going to be so successful, either you're going to lose him or people are going to clamor for. Remember when Coach Orgeron was our defensive line coach and coordinator and recruiting? Yep. What did everybody want when he took over? Nobody wanted him to go. They still want him back. Gary Patterson's one of the best defensive minds in football. I think this is a great hire, and I think we got a chance at SC for this to go down as Lincoln Riley's best hire. Yeah, at any point in time since he's been a head coach.
And Gary Patterson's still just 65. I
know.
So after he left TCU, he was the special assistant to the head coach at Texas, and then took a year off. Yep. Took a year off. Pretty sure he did a little bit of TV work. I want to say for CBS.
Probably consulted for a few people too.
Yeah. And then 2024, he consulted with Baylor and was helping out at Baylor. And
Dave
now,
Aranda, who's a great defensive mind as well.
And now he comes to USC as the defensive coordinator. And I don't think you have to worry about him being a head coach again. I don't know that he wants that again.
That's agreed. He said, I think Gary right now is loving the life of just relationships with players. Right. You get to the point, and right now Gary might be one of those guys that says, a head coach with all this shit going on with NIL and transfer portal, let me do what I know most head coaches always love. And I've told you this. The thing they miss the most about being a position coach or a coordinator is their relationships with the players, which we've let, because social media knows, go by the wayside. Relationships with those players matter. And I feel like Gary's at the stage of his career, that security where, I go, because listen, Segs, this guy's got a resume that says head coach written all over it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's available to be the defense coach. But there are some whose egos would get in the way. What if Gary wants it back? I'm not saying Lincoln, but I think Gary has carved it out the way he wants it done. And I think this is a brilliant hire, even though it may not be sexy, because a lot of young kids may not even remember Gary Patterson killing it long before these other coaches did at TCU. He put TCU on the map as far as a dominant program, and they were good every year. They were in play for a big bowl game when we were playing bowl games like we used to on a regular basis, and January 1 was real relevant, right? So I love this hire, and I was so glad he did it. I got 0. 65 doesn't mean anything. Gary loves the kids, and he's good at it. He's in a coaching prime. I I think this is a hire that I would have never even thought of while this process was going on. I'm glad he's there.
Yeah. Good for Lincoln Riley going out and getting a guy of
No
this
doubt.
stature.
Lincoln knows the importance, Segs, of this year for him. He knows the importance because their alumni are not going to put up with kind of getting there. And for this is, and they would have kept their previous defense. Did a nice job, but he went for, where's he at? Penn State now? Is that where he went? Did he go with Matt Campbell, right? This is the best defensive hire that they've had since in years, I think, at least on paper. We'll see what happens.